Hi, everyone. This is Linda Bronson. I'm with the Groundbreakers program, and I'm excited to be here with some great individuals to talk about diversity, inclusion, and the importance of community outreach. Make a few introductions here. I have David Ortiz with Diversity Inclusion Program here at Oracle. I have Debra Lilley joining us from Accenture and also one of our ACE directors. And we have Mackenzie Dancho joining us from Technovation, one of our great partner organizations who focuses on community outreach and enabling diversity and inclusion in all areas of the world, and specifically focusing on family and girls. As I go around and you tell a little bit more about yourselves, maybe you might give us an example, a personal example of where you first notice diversity in your own lives and how you might be a little bit different from someone else. David?
Thank you, Linda. And you can't really tell because I'm sitting down, but I am a tall gentleman. I'm about 6'8", and I became aware of my difference in elementary school when we would have to line up for fire drills, and I was always last in line. And it really isn't a good feeling to be picked last, either for the kickball team or the dodgeball team, and I didn't have any control over how tall I was. So that's when I realized I was different, and people treat you a certain way just based on some of your differences. And that's why I'm part of the diversity and inclusion team here at Oracle. I manage our portfolio of diversity strategic partnerships and also our disability inclusion strategy, where individuals can just show up as they are and contribute to the organization's success.
That's great. Thank you. Debra?
So for me, it's not anything specific, but I know that, I have a problem with my hand. I'm not disabled at all, but having to apologize for that. In the Oracle world, I apologize for not being technical, although apparently I'm told off for that. But it is that everybody wants to belong, and everybody should be able to belong. And so it's important to me, although I don't actually classify in any recognized diversity group.
Thank you. Mackenzie?
Hi, everyone. So I think for me, I first noticed my difference when I was very young. A simple story, sitting in a science classroom and feeling like I wasn't coming naturally to me. And so that was probably because I was a girl. And it wasn't really expected in my family for me to be good at science, and it wasn't expected anywhere else. So it just seemed like something I shouldn't really try too hard to pursue. And I almost lost out on an opportunity to be involved in the tech world. And many, many women feel that way. So I have found a wonderful place with Technovation to work and try and bring women and families and underrepresented communities to engage with technology in a comfortable space that they can be creative in.
That's great. Maybe you can touch a little bit more on why diversity is important. We know that it's lacking, but what the real implications are of that.
Sure, and I think this is something that we're focusing on in both of our programs that we have globally, is thinking about technology in a responsible way, thinking about the power of technology and what it can do if you don't have inclusivity in your creation of new tech tools. So we have some curriculum items on that where we focus on responsible tech. And I think what you see is, and I think Dave and I might have been discussing this earlier, you'll see something like Siri and Alexa, two apps that are named after women, two apps that have female voices that were really designed mostly by men. And it's a very submissive way to portray a machine as a submissive woman. So here, that's just one small example of something you might see where without that inclusivity, without having more people contributing to building these new tools that have incredible capabilities and influence on our society, it's thinking about how to change that and how to bring more people in.
I work in the, one of the things that I'm working on at the moment is the whole digital assistant side and the machine learning and the AI. And, the worry is if everything's based on historic data, we're not looking forward to getting rid of diversity. We're actually pushing what's happened in the past with these clever tools. So it's not just the designing them, it's the, hey, if it was only ever 30% female and we're going to use that as our learning platform, we're just going to make it worse. So, yeah.
And another example I share regarding AI, a statistic I read, individuals with darker skin tones are 5% less likely to be recognized by self-driving vehicles. Whereas if you had more diversity, you could have somebody actually calibrating some of the skin tones to be more inclusive. So that's just a real world example of how not having the right people in the room, at the table, sharing their insights and perspectives could lead to some missed opportunities.
That is great examples and so interesting to me. As we, each of us working on programs designed to reach more and different types of people, what are some of the examples of areas that Oracle is doing to outreach and look for those opportunities?
Yeah, sure. I tell individuals I have the best job at Oracle because I get to work with amazing organizations in the community. So just this past weekend, we had 2 of our diversity strategic partners attend the Oracle Code for Kids event on Sunday at the Moscone Center. And that's just a way to connect with students, expose them to STEM, and have them start thinking about potential pathways to careers in this field. And these are students from underrepresented backgrounds, and we're always looking at inclusivity as well. So the organizations have a good handle on their demographics, so they're equally split between male and female students. And we just want to get them encouraged. And then looking long term, supplementing that with some of the scholarships that we provide, internship opportunities, and ultimately and ideally employment opportunities as well. So it's getting to work with these organizations, meeting them where they are, and then providing them access to resources and opportunities.
So I work for Accenture. I'm an ACE Director for Oracle, and I don't see any distinction. My life just all moves into one, but it's great working for a large organization that has a diversity, strategy and that can invest in that. And one of the things that, I'm allowed to go out and spend time doing these things as part of my job. But with Oracle, I got involved in the Bloodhound program, which is based in Europe, and it's to inspire a generation. It's about a land speed record. It's about inspiring a generation. And recently, I took part at the London Motor Show, and it was to get the children to come and build a rocket that would go down this runway and to show them how thrust worked, to get them inspired in STEM. And I went on a day when there were no members of the public, so I thought, why do you need me here? And they said, actually, we're going to take autistic children in because they don't like the noise of the public. And I am seeing so many instances where there are such great careers for autistic children in IT, and to get them to see that they've got something to value to add. We were talking before, you've got to get people where they are, and this was where they were without the public having a go. It was just brilliant.
Very inspiring. And how's Technovation working on that?
For Technovation's outreach, I think initially we started out wanting our curriculums to be online, accessible, available to everyone. And it still is that way today. But what we found was that without community partners, without working with corporations, without working with local schools, local libraries, without working with other nonprofits, we weren't going to see underrepresented communities be able to actually harness and take and use that curriculum that we've developed. Having mentors, having volunteers to work with, having supportive parents is really, really important for our programs to thrive and succeed. So for us, it really is doing outreach to other people that want to work on these issues as well and tackling them together, and then helping families to tackle and learn together as well is really, really important for us.
And I love that you mentioned, Mackenzie, the whole concept of the family as a support unit. In the past, I've worked with a Latino nonprofit in the Chattanooga area where I'm based. and we realized that you really had to make any outreach family friendly because the concept of family is different based on culture. So I think when individuals from mainstream cultures think family, they think mom, dad, and siblings. In Latino culture, you can get everybody, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, godparents, cousins, and just working with that, being aware of the culture, and then how critical it is to have that family support, especially for STEM programs, because it is going to take the resources from all family members to allow time, access to technology, and the resources to ensure success. So it's a great model.
I also think that, I've already mentioned what you said about going to where they are. I work in London. I don't live there, but I work in London, and there is a meetup for anything and everything, right? And Linda will tell you I'll talk about anything, but I love to go and talk about what I do and about careers in IT and how I got started and to any of those groups. And like you say, each group has its own identity, and and in a lot of cases in London, they're not with that support system. They're not, so their support system are other people like them. Yes. And so it's great to go and talk to them. And the discussions are different because they're coming at it from different things that are important to them. And it's just, saying, hey, come to us, it's great, isn't enough. We need to go to people.
And I think to just touch on that, for Technovation, our first goal is actually to empower communities. Our first goal is not to, teach how to code or learn AI and tech tools. That's almost a secondary to first people learning how to problem solve, how to identify issues that they care about, how to understand what's affecting their community, and then thinking about how they actually have the power to solve it if they learn a few quick things. For young children, having their parents come along for that journey is so important. And having their parents see that they themselves have an interest in technology because it can help them and their family and their community will inspire further learning for the whole family and further education for those youngsters that are just starting out learning about, a robotics concept.
I love the examples that we have in really empowering an ecosystem around each of these notions and how ultimately this, a lot of what I've really focused on at Code One this year is how technology and engaging with the ecosystem can be made personal for me, not just for my career. And how can these types of activities anywhere in the world, how can we go about doing that and making this experience personal? What are the ways we can do that? Mackenzie?
So I think part of the team that I work with at Technovation is our volunteer engagement team because we work very closely with partners like Oracle to be able to provide mentors and people that can give feedback to families about their work, be encouraging, someone to look at and understand what kind of job did they do? Can I see myself in that role? So for us, it's really starting to reach out through all of our corporate networks as well as community networks to connect everyone. So that way, an employee who may sometimes be feeling lost in their job, maybe a loss of creativity, maybe aren't feeling connected to their company, can actually come and mentor. And you'll see our mentors actually will say afterwards, after going through our programs with students and families, that they feel re-engaged with their work. They feel a little bit lighter. They feel a real human tie to what they're doing, which you can sometimes lose when you're working in technology, the technology sector specifically. So,
yeah, that's a great example.
And I think it's important to give individuals options with ways to engage. Volunteering is a great opportunity. Oracle has employee resource groups, and then we have other programs that fall outside of the diversity team but still coordinate that outreach. Oracle Academy, for example, where we have curriculum that's available to students, and then globally, which is global, and then Oracle Women's Leadership, which works with communities to really talk about topics that resonate with audience members and then give them a number of ways to engage. So whether it's a mixer in the evening or a volunteer opportunity on the weekend or a mentoring opportunity at lunch, presenting them with a slate of opportunities to engage, I think that's where you yield the most success.
And I think that's really, really important because we're living in a really exciting time where, people are waking up to the fact that this is an issue. I have a daughter in the military, and 10 years ago when she was at school, she was told it wasn't a job for her as a woman. This year she went back to that school and gave a presentation about careers in the military. And so, but it's, as people wake up, it's people, we might all be willing, but like you said, we need a smorgasbord of way to do it, and organisations like yours that can help corporations be as effective as possible. So I think it's really exciting.
Great. Well, as we wrap up our conversation, if there are some final comments on what anyone here listening to our discussion can go and do today at the end of this week, enable their own colleagues at their work to go and work with either Oracle, partner with Accenture, or Technovation. I'll let you guys give that direction so people can take that away.
Sure. So for Technovation, we actually have one of our programs that is ongoing right now. It's called Technovation Families, and we've spoken a little bit about what it is today. And you can actually go right on to technovationacademy.org and register to be a mentor. You'll go through a training that tells you a little bit more about what our program is and what the value of family learning is, and then also learn how to be a STEM mentor. What does that mean, and what might you gain from that as well? So I would recommend anyone who has an interest, even in just learning about what that is, to jump on technovationacademy.org.
I'm going to do that this afternoon.
And, we're here as part of the Oracle community, and it's a phenomenal community. And if anybody here, feels that they're in a situation where they're not included or they're a minority, then reach out to that community, because we're made up of lots of individuals and there'll be somebody that can help you. So, you're here, be part of this community.
And I always instruct individuals to start where you are with what you have. So starting at the conference, say hi to somebody you don't know. Make a new friend, make a new connection.
Nice.
And then with Oracle, if you're an employee of Oracle, get connected with our communities for volunteer opportunities, our employee resource groups. And then we also sponsor a number of diversity-themed conferences, Society for Women Engineers, for example, Society for Hispanic Professional Engineers. So reach out to the Oracle team, reach out to your colleagues and peers, and just find ways to give back through either mentoring or volunteering also, and help build up that next generation of STEM leaders.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time today, and look forward to continuing the conversation about how we can expand our outreach and kind of increase the diversity and stop the gap that we have right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.